Great leaders inspire action. I mean, they transfer belief and energy to their people to achieve their vision. The second person that I'm going to interview today exactly does that. Once a seasoned developer evangelist, now leading the globe's best developer relations team. Please welcome Christophe Condriots, Vice President, Salesforce Developer Relations. Hi, Christophe. How are you?
Hi, Kiran. Nice to be here today. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. So, Christophe, our audience would really like to know uh, where did you come from and a little about your childhood.
All right. Well, I was born and raised in Brussels, Belgium. And then, I was working in a different software company, an American software company over there in Belgium.
Okay.
And I was working with, American teammates. And one day, totally out of the blue, they asked me, hey, we have that position here in Boston. Would you like to take it?
Okay.
And I think I thought about it for about half a minute and I said, sure, let's do it.
Wow.
And, I really thought, this would be like a 1 year or a 2 year experience. Hopefully I would, improve my English a little bit and it would just be an amazing experience. But now, it's 20 years later. I'm still in Boston. I have a wife and 2 kids, 16 and 14. So, it doesn't always go as planned.
It's a life-changing move. Okay.
That's right. Totally.
Awesome. So, Christophe, tell me this. You've been an evangelist for the most part of your career and taken up a leadership role in the recent years. How has the journey been for you? Is it safe to call it a paradigm shift?
Yeah, so, well, actually, when I moved to the US, I actually managed a small team of evangelists already at the time. Okay. But then, for many years after that, I kind of stayed away from management. But, 2 years ago, actually, I had the opportunity to, lead this amazing developer relations team. And I thought, it was the right challenge at the time, and I'm super excited that I went for the challenge. So is it a paradigm shift? It is a big change, right? Because even, as an individual contributor, you always want to be a good teammate and to kind of win as a team.
Right.
But, when you lead the team, you basically have no choice, right? Your success is the team's success. The team's success is your success.
Absolutely.
And I think what was also a big change for me and a kind of a humbling change is that all of a sudden you realize that somehow you became responsible for a big team, and you are responsible for their career, their development, their well-being. And that's pretty humbling, and that's very different from being an individual contributor. And at the end of the day, you're responsible for the success of the team, and that's the key thing, because without the success of the team, then it's hard, for these teammates or members of your team to be successful in their career and to offer them that development and these career opportunities. So it is a huge paradigm shift. It is very humbling, but it's also very exciting when you see that you can really influence the direction of the team and really offer amazing opportunities to the members of the team.
Let me tell you, you're a great influencer, Christophe. Just wanted to put that out.
Well, thank you.
So my next question is, as a leader, you've been in situations where tough decisions need to be taken for the business. How does that, person in you deal with the leader? Do you have conflicts?
Yeah. Of course, you always have conflicts, right? That is part of the deal. But I think, and at Salesforce, as you know, we put a lot of focus on values, and I really think that's where values are important, because these values really kind of help you, especially in difficult or challenging times. So to me, that's really super important, is to know what my values are, what the company values are, and to let these values, to really go back to these values when there is a conflict, when there is a challenge, right? And to me, leadership, part of leadership is also, being transparent, kind of, tell it like it is, right? And so, that is also, that is one of the values. It's basically trust, because I think it's the foundation for respect between you and everybody, else on the team. And once you tell it like it is, then I think it's really the good foundation to start showing, the other side, and really help the employee in difficult situations and show that, empathy, and really help your, employees navigate through difficult times.
Absolutely, Christophe. I agree with you. And talking about people, you've worked with developer communities in the last 20 years. And, how do you think communities have evolved? And how do you envision them in the next decade, Christophe?
Well, I don't want to show my age, but when I started in the business, communities pretty much, developer communities pretty much didn't exist, right? Evangelism at the time was kind of us going around the country or around the world, delivering a few big events, every year. That was basically it, right? And so, I think that people came to these events to kind of learn from us. We were kind of the source of truth, and you had, the engineers of the company delivering the message and, delivering the best practices and all that good stuff. And I think the shift, with, developer user groups and then online communities is that, sure, they're still learning from us a little bit, but I really think that the big shift is that they are learning from each other, and I think that has been an amazing change. And it's not only about learning about the latest best practices or about the latest feature of a specific product. I think what communities enable as well is learning from each other in terms of success stories, in terms of, career transformation that maybe, they never thought was possible if they hadn't seen someone else in that same community, do it before them and be the inspiration. And in that way, I think, communities are a great equalizer, because it allows people to see in other people what they could become. And I think I really expect to see, more of that, where, it's really shifting from, a specific vendor, delivering all these, best practices and learning opportunities to, communities kind of doing it themselves. Because the reality is that, sometimes we live in a bubble, right? We think we know the software that we build really well, but the reality is that we don't always have the hands-on experience of using, the product in specific situations, which again, members of the community can provide. So, kind of my vision is that I'm expecting to see more of that, like, the power to the community being more, powerful, being more inspiring for other people. And then I think that our role as a vendor has really changed from being the source of truth to really enabling these communities. And I think that, at Salesforce, that's what we do really well. So, I expect to see more of that. And then the one last thing that I would mention is that, obviously we are all going through really difficult times right now with the pandemic and all that, but hopefully there is a little bit of good that we saw coming out of that as well in the community. I mean, we have seen incredible things done, by our community. And for example, one thing that I've seen is that communities, that used to be very local, right? They were, local to a city or to a country. All of a sudden, because everything is going virtual, they extended their reach and they extended their scope. And so, obviously these virtual communities, I think, are here to stay. And so I expect to see a lot more of that.
Absolutely, Christophe. You make a very important point. In fact, one of the speakers that I was interviewing today very beautifully put it in one line that we trailblazers, we complete each other, right? She told,
Totally.
I'm incomplete without my fellow trailblazers, because she's giving it back and taking it as well. So that's a very important point that you made today. Christophe, it's been a pleasure talking to you. It's a privilege to have you on our show, our first talk show. These are some very important leadership lessons if anybody is aspiring to be a leader in the future. Great to have you on the show. Hope to have you sometime, again another day.
Looking forward to it, Kiran. It was great to be here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Christophe.